Hello and welcome to our show on Tuesday night. We're going to talk about the challenge I issued you all last Tuesday to eat from your pantry and not spend any more than $20 if you had to spend anything. All it had to be under $20, and see if you could survive the week with what you already had, $20 if you needed it, and being creative with your mindset. Now, I'll fess up and say that after Thursday, I didn't shop. I did shop Thursday morning, and I think I told you, no, on Thursday night, yes, I told you last Thursday night that I'd spent, I think it was $7 something, was about all I'd spent. Well, that was it. That was all I ended up spending for the week, and that was on bread. So I think I came in under the $20. We ate from our pantry. We used up what we had. Nobody went hungry. In fact, nobody really noticed that we were doing a pantry challenge at all. So how was it at your house? Comments, are we live? Can someone just say something so we know that you can hear us and see us?
Yeah, we're saying things.
I haven't got any comments coming up. It doesn't matter. Okay. There we go. Let's see if that changes it. Oh, there we go. Click the right button and all things good happen. Oh, Joe managed to stay awake. Oh, good, because, you know, I could do with a sleep too, probably. Hello, everyone. All right, so who we got? Mandy, Lisa, Diana, Maureen, Michelle, Narelle. Hope you get better, Narelle. Leah, Karen T, Leonie, Lisa O'Donnell, Kelly W, 301 Jules, Julie Sydenham. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, Karen T. Oh, gosh. Emma Jane. Goodness me. Kathy, Margarita, Alicia B, Barb, and Kath. So I'm really glad you could join us tonight. That's lovely. Is it cold where you are? It's freezing here. I just looked before and I think it says 6. So I think we'll have a frost in the morning. I was looking at the weather map for Victoria. We're just all pink. So we're just all frost tomorrow. But then what do we expect? It is June and winter. So we shouldn't really complain. It did come as a bit of a shock though. So I hope you're all staying warm. So oh, Diana didn't spend anything. Well done, yay! Who else didn't spend anything? Was anyone else able to not buy any groceries for a week? I'd love to know. Maureen, 1905, and she still had, well done, Maureen. Champion cheapskate. Woo. And I hope you had a lovely 21st birthday. Okay. Kath, there was no show on Tuesday. I did send a reply to your email, by the way. 7 in Rowville, says Karen T. Yeah, well, we're sort of close. So, Alicia B, 1370 for the week. Yes. Did you get any complaints, folks? Was anyone going, there's not enough to eat, or I'm hungry, or not the normal teenage open the fridge and stare and go, there's nothing to eat in here, and shut the door? But, you know, did anyone feel deprived with the meals that they had? Were they sad and sorry? No one was at our house. Everyone just ate normally, like we normally do. It was pretty easy. So, all right. Long life milk in the pantry. Isn't that long life milk? Tastes a bit funny. Once you get used to it, it's okay. But gee, it's handy to have. Keeps really, really well. And now we're very excited to see that you can actually get long life cream again. We used to be able to get long life cream, and then the one and only factory in Australia that made it was sold, and the machinery was dismantled. That was a couple of years ago. So now someone's taken it over and started making long life cream again, which is really, really good. I was very happy about that. Did you learn any lessons from your pantry challenge? Did you figure out that you had lots of things that you didn't know you had? Were there lots of odd packets of mixes, soups or gravies or spice mixes or something that you bought or been given or picked up on a Flybuys freebie or something and hadn't used that were lurking in the back of the pantry? Did you find that there were some areas that you could have improved your stocks in, perhaps long life milk? We'll use Diana, long life milk. Or cereal, did you run out of cereal or something like that? I mean, we're all going to run out of fresh things because they just don't keep, and they're not supposed to, folks. If you're buying tomatoes or bananas or apples, no, not apples, we'll go for tomatoes or bananas or cucumbers, and they're lasting for weeks, then they're not supposed to. Fresh food from your garden, you pick it, you use it, it will last a few days, up to a week, maybe 10 days, depending on what it is. After that, it's supposed to go off. Fresh food isn't supposed to last forever. So if your fresh food's lasting a long time, you need to ask yourself what's happening to it. And I'll get off my hobby horse now.
I'd like to know where the long life cream is from.
The long life cream was from Coles.
Bottom shelf, it's Australia's own.
Bottom shelf, and the brand name is Australia's own, and it's in a really pretty little packet, sort of little mini UHT thing. It's probably about, yeah, 2
like
inches.
the mini milk.
Like the mini milks, yeah, like the mini Devondale milks that you get.
And $1.65 or $1.45.
Yeah,
I think.
Okay. And it's usually on the bottom shelf with the milks, the long life milks, next to the milk powders and things, and condensed milk, evaporated milk, that sort of area in Coles. And it's in a pretty packet. It's sort of got a cow's nice country scene on it, browns and greens. It's quite pretty as packets go. Cajun seasoning. Oh, yum. Risotto. Did you know, Alicia, I made risotto for years without Parmesan because I didn't really like Parmesan, because I'm a child of the 60s. So I grew up with Parmesan being the dry stuff in the green from Kraft, in that green round cardboard container that looked a bit like the old-fashioned Ajax tin, and you'd open it and it would stink to high heaven. And Hannah tells me they still sell it. Whoops. That's what I grew up with until I was in my teens, and we discovered fresh Parmesan. Oh, two totally different products. So for a long time, I wouldn't eat Parmesan. I didn't like it for that reason. So good on you, Barb. Okay. Stinky cheese, yeah. Oh, it was just foul, and I can't believe they still make it. So Annie spent only $1.90, found some items in the pantry she forgot. Yes, used them up. Well done. Now you've got space in your pantry. You've probably created a new dish or two for the family to enjoy. I'm going to get back to that in a minute. So well done. Okay, I wanted to go over this challenge again because there were two reasons for doing it. Obviously, to save the grocery money. So you should all have a fair whack of grocery money to use for a slush fund if you want to, or to add to your emergency fund to pay off a debt, whatever, because you haven't spent a whole week's grocery money. So that excess should be sitting either in your grocery money purse or your bank account somewhere because you haven't spent it. But also so that you'd see all the things in your pantry that you have that fill the pantry up, but that you don't use. And food that's sitting there is money that's doing nothing for you. You've spent money on it, and so it's pretty much wasted. And then even worse, it can be thrown in the bin, because if after a while you go through your pantry and go, nah, don't like that anymore, it's out of date, toss a whole heap of stuff, you're throwing money in the bin. And as cheapskates, we don't want to do that, but we can't afford to do that either. We work too hard and too long for the money that we have. We don't want to be throwing it away. You might as well just take a $50 note and toss it in the garbage bin each bin night if you are going to throw food away. We don't want to do it. I've gone over this with you before because the figures are astronomical, something like $3,000 a year. I think the average household is the average for Australian households on what they throw, the value of the food they throw out, not that they compost, but the food they throw out. So that's a lot of money, $3,000. You're working for a month just to throw food in the bin. We don't want to do that. So, okay. Now, as you went through Pantry and you created your wild and wacky and delicious pantry meals, did you notice that perhaps there were things that you eat all the time? Like Thursday night's pizza night in our house, so we always have pizza, or the boys and Wayne always have pizza. Hannah and I had fried rice tonight. We usually do scratch on Thursday nights. Whatever's around, we'll make up something and that will feed us. So that's a good clean out the fridge night for us. But then Sunday's always a roast. Monday is something. Tuesday is usually the leftovers of the roast turned into something. Wednesday is our spicy food night. I've gone over all this with you before. But we still only eat pretty much maybe 45, maybe 50 at the most different dishes that I would make on a regular rotation. And they're the dishes that I keep the ingredients for. So did you find that you had pretty much basic ingredients that you could use to make just about anything that you ate? Because not all families eat the same things, of course, and we don't all like the same dishes or the same spices or herbs or whatever. Did you find that when you were doing your pantry challenge? Did you realise that perhaps your rotation of meals is actually quite small because they all use the same types of ingredients? Because that's this is going to be my next challenge for you. And this is going to be a big one, a big challenge. So you're going to need a calendar, and I don't care whether you use your phone or put a piece of paper on the fridge, desk planner, whatever. But just like we track our spending to know where our money's going and what it's going on and how much we're actually frittering away, my next challenge to you is to track your meals that you make, so that you can see how often you make spag bowl, how often you have tacos, how often you do a roast. But also in the tracking, you're going to track how much of each dish that you make or each meal that you make is not eaten. Now, if you're really smart, like we're a family of 5, so most of my recipes will do 6 serves. And I make sure I get 6 serves. 1 goes in the freezer, and then every now and then, if we need a freezer meal night or whatever, those meals are there. And I think freezer meals done like that, I consider those free food because they've already been paid for in the grocery budget for the week that they were made. So I consider those free meals, and I love free food. But if you don't do that, if you put it in the fridge and it sits there for a week and then bin night comes around and you just open the container and tip it in the bin, you're throwing that money in the bin. So I would like you to track how much of the food you actually throw out so that you can actually physically see when you're throwing it out. You're going to be writing down, I threw out 2 serves of Thai green curry or whatever. Wouldn't go to waste in our house, but and then you'll be able to see how much money is going in the bin. And once you've got a good record of that, you'll also have a really good list of the meals that you like or that you can cook easily. But you'll see too how much money you're throwing out, and you'll be able to adjust so that you don't need to make quite so much. Perhaps you can cut down the recipe. Perhaps you can cut it in half, or you can cut it by a third. You can work it out. There's calculators. If you do a Google search, there's calculators that can tell you how to adjust. You type the quantities in and the number of people you want to serve, and it'll do it for you automatically. But usually you can either halve it or double it or whatever. It's really quite a simple process. And then you'll know, you'll have a really good list of meals that you like, which will help with your meal planning, but you'll also know how you can sort of give your grocery budget perhaps a 25, 30 or even 50% boost. Because everyone always says it costs so much to eat. Well, perhaps if we actually ate everything that we paid for, it wouldn't cost so much to eat. Does that make sense? So for the next month, let's say, let's do it. Let's do it till the end of July, because we're nearly at the end of June now. I'll do it with you, and I'll make a list of the meals that we make. You will get my meal plan in the newsletter anyway, and we pretty much stick to it, although occasionally I'll swap days around or whatever. And I'll also, because even I found an interesting point, this last few days has been quite hectic. And when I went to the fridge this morning, there was a container of chicken, cooked chicken, lurking at the back. And I went, totally, it got buried. I totally forgot it was there. And it was probably 2 days past when I'd be comfortable using it. So I had to throw that in the bin. Now, it was probably a quarter of a chicken, and it was, the chicken would have been one of the $2.99 ones. So it was probably about, which they're usually about 2 kilos, so $6. So it was probably about $1.50's worth of chicken that I had to throw in the bin, because we don't have a dog or a cat at the moment to give it to.
At the moment?
At the moment, madam, at the moment.
I'll start looking.
No, don't start looking.
You said at the moment.
At the moment, the backyard's not big enough. We'll have this conversation later. So I had to throw it out, and I was like, no, I hate throwing food out. I hate it. And I don't have the bokashi bucket set up at the moment either, so I couldn't even bokashi it, which is really heartbreaking, because I just hate it. And on that note, I need a cup of tea now. Okay. All right. Hello, Pamela. Oh. Okay, well, thank you, Barb. 3,800. It's a heck of a lot of money that Australian the average Australian household just bins every year. You know, that's a month's wages. You work for a month just to put money in the bin. I'd rather lie on a beach in the sunshine with a drink, with a little umbrella and a book. Would sound good to me. All right, so who's up for that challenge? Who wants to know? First of all, who wants to know what they cook all the time? If you don't do a written meal plan and stick to it, then chances are you have a rough idea of what you like and what you cook, but you don't really know all of the dishes. When I do the meal planning workshops, I get everyone to write out every single dish they like. So fish and chips, curry tuna slice, egg salad sandwiches, corned beef and cabbage, veggie soup, everything, spag bowl, lasagna, everything they possibly like to eat, fried rice, spring rolls, list them all, so that they can see that they really don't eat a whole lot. There's not hundreds of dishes for most of us. It's very few. So that when you're doing a meal plan and putting them into rotation, and everyone says, oh, we hate eating the same thing over and over. You know what? If you just realised it when you've done an official meal plan, you've been eating the same thing over and over anyway. just hasn't been up on the fridge, so you haven't been aware of it. Right. Cool. So got Maureen, Annie, Lorraine S, me. You can help me. Just say yes, Mum.
Okay.
I think it's interesting because the last month or so, I've been picking up lots of chatter going towards food shortages, costs going up, and we all know the price of meat is outrageous at the moment, but things like sugar, eggs, butter, flour, we all notice the increase in the price of flour. All those things are going up. So we need to be more aware of how we spend our grocery money to get the most from it. And I think if we know what we're going to use, what we like, and what ingredients they use, and we realise that we can just buy basic ingredients and make a gazillion different dishes, that it keeps the grocery budget under control, but it gives us more a sense of control over what is happening around us. And while I don't think for 1 minute that we're going to suffer huge food shortages here in Australia, we will notice the increase in price. I do think a lot of it is scaremongering as an excuse to increase prices. Just call me Miss Skeptic. That's me over here. Because I know, look, if it got really bad, we could grow our own food. Any of us could grow our own food, whether we have a backyard or just some pots or even some bags. We could grow our own food. So, it's not meant to scare anyone. I don't want to terrify anyone, and I don't want anyone to stress about it. I really think it's going to be a fun thing, because I'm interested to know, after finding the chicken lurking in the back of the fridge. It's a wonder you didn't hear me go pong this morning. Just how much we actually waste, because I think that we sort of are pretty good on the waste thing. Joy and I were talking, Joy of Quilting, and she's not on here, but we were talking on Saturday, and I had a little plastic bag in the sink, and I was just putting stuff in it. And we were talking about what could be composted and what was recyclable and what was actually genuine rubbish. And there wasn't actually a lot of genuine rubbish in it. The tea bags can go in the compost. The tuna tin was going in the cycle bin. There was some paper that would go in the recycle bin. Little things like that. And just for convenience, I was just tipping it all into one place. So it was in one neat bundle for me to sort while we had a house full of people. So totally lost the train of thought. Oh yeah, the waste. We don't want to waste. I'm interested to see, because I think that we are pretty good on the rubbish waste. So I'd like to see how much we actually do waste that we shouldn't be. And I might even give myself a challenge to try and only have to put the bin out once a fortnight. Wouldn't that be good? We used to, not so very long ago, I used to have a thing where I put it out every week, but I'd aim to only have it half full, if we possibly could, by composting, recycling, reusing, repurposing, being creative. I'd try to only have the garbage bin half full each week. So I might try and do that again. Michelle, beauty. Yeah, Coles bread's been $2 for a while, Annette. All bread has gone up. I'm not sure about Woolies because I don't go there, but I'm pretty sure it has too, along with the milk, everything else. Ooh, Kathy's spaghetti sounds nice, Hannah. It's tuna, onion, You wouldn't like the olives. We'd leave the olives out for Hannah. I'd like the olives. Sounds good, Kathy. Very good. So that's our next challenge. Good one? I hope so. We just need to keep a track, like we track our spending or track our meals. Easy as that. It will last till the end of July. Well, I'll check in with you regularly to make sure it's going to work, or you're working. If you've got any questions, you can ask them, but really it's pretty simple. It's not like I've got some funny questions about the $20. You know, did it include this? Did it include that? Did it have to just be 20? Was it $20 per person? That was the one that cracked me up. No, $20. So a few people that wanted to push the boundaries, and that's fine because we're all different. We all live different lifestyles and have different needs and wants too. So what's Barb say? Barb, junk food, soft drinks, chocolates, toiletries, some cleaning stuff, some pet stuff, pretty much makes up the bulk of all supermarket specials. I went through the Woolworths half price catalogue yesterday for this week, and there was nothing in the Woolies half price catalogue that I would buy, which was a bit disappointing because I was in the mood for shopping yesterday. I'm not today, so it didn't matter. Because I don't buy junk food. I don't buy soft drinks. We don't have pets at the moment.
Thank you.
So I don't need to buy pet foods or pet supplies. I buy my meat from the butcher, not the supermarket. So it was really disappointing. You know, I buy toilet paper, laundry soap, washing soda, borax from the cleaning aisle. And then we have shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste and deodorants, but I shop around for those because they're often cheaper at the chemist or at Not Quite Right, somewhere like that. You'll pick them up at the reject shop quite cheaply. So supermarkets, even on half price, aren't always the best deal for those things. So real food, or what I consider real food, like flour, sugar, butter, eggs, milk, cheese, rarely on sale. Frozen fruits and veg might come on sale occasionally. A few weeks ago, Woolworths, then Coles, had really good specials on frozen chips, and they actually worked out cheaper per kilo than buying the potatoes and doing them yourself. So I did get a couple of packets and put in the freezer, but not often are they even cheaper. And honestly, wedges are so easy to make. Why you would pay $2.30 a kilo or more, it's $3 something a kilo for wedges when potatoes are at the most $1 a kilo. So easy to make. And all I do with my wedges is I scrub the potatoes. I don't peel them, I scrub them. And then I get some veggie oil, and it's usually sunflower oil, and paprika, probably about 1/4 of a cup of oil, and a good 2 teaspoons of paprika. We like the sweet paprika. You can use whatever paprika you like, doesn't matter. And I mix it through the oil because it just coats the potatoes better. Put that aside, scrub the potatoes, cut them into wedges, put them in a bowl, toss them through the oil and paprika mix. Then I lay them out in the baking sheet and put them into a hot oven. It's usually about 210 on the fan forced oven, and it's preheated. It's got to be hot when the food goes in. Something else I harp on about, I know, but it's really important if you want the end product to be the way you expect it to be. You need to preheat your oven. Put them in the oven 15 minutes, turn them another 15 minutes, they're done, and they're delicious. They're crispy on the outside, light and fluffy on the inside. They're just really good. It takes probably 5 minutes to scrub them, chop them, and toss them, and then they're in the oven. So it's almost as fast as opening the plastic bag and sprinkling them on the oven sheet. Anyway, but they're so much cheaper to make at home. You can par cook them. Now that means scrub your potatoes, cut them into wedges. I put them into a bowl, cover it with a plastic bag or Glad wrap, pop it in the microwave and cook it on high for about 5 minutes. And that's usually 4 potatoes cut into wedges for about 5 minutes. Let them cool, and then you can freeze them so they're even partially cooked, just like the frozen ones from the supermarket. You're not cooking them from scratch, and then toss them in the oil and put them in the oven when you're ready to eat them. That works too. So you don't need to buy wedges. There you go. Narelle, sometimes you just have to have a chip. When we're in Tassie in January, chips and pizza. I'm not a fan of pizza, and I don't often want potato chips either. We're in Tassie in January and we're driving around saying, oh, I really feel like potato chips, and we're in the middle of nowhere. So the next little town we came to, I was busily looking for a supermarket or a milk bar or a convenience store so I could go and get a packet of chips, and I did. But I opened them and we each had a little handful, and I screwed them up, put them away, and the next day I made that packet of chips last us 4 days. Barb.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I found a cat, the name like Bruce.
No,
Bruce?
We're not getting Bruce the cat. I'm so sorry, folks. We've got a conversation going over here. Barb, okay. Choc chips, one special Nestle, $1.97 a bag at Coles. Okay. We don't need any. We found a bit of an extra stash of choc chips that we're trying to work our way through. That's a really good price. Folks, Victorians, sorry for anyone out of state, but Victorians, NQR has Colgate toothpaste for $1 a tube. $1 a tube, and it's the 125 gram tube of toothpaste this week. Great price. Okay. Oh, cool, Maureen. Vegeta powder for $1.85. Now, did we just buy a big tin of that?
Yes, we got the 1 kilo.
Yeah, we got a great big tin of it from Coles. That's right. That's better than half price, Maureen, for the Vegeta at Woolies. So that's a great price. It's really nice stock powder too if you don't make your own stock, even if you do and you've run out, whatever. And it will keep for 2 to 3 years on your shelf, unopened. Once you've opened it, you need to use it up probably within 6 months or so, but it keeps. And you don't need to freeze them. It's winter. They'll keep fine. If it was summer, yes, you could put them into the freezer. Choc chips, sorry. And it's asking, could the choc chips be frozen to use at a later date? They don't need to be frozen. They will keep their shelf stable. So it's winter. So even where you are, it won't be warm enough to melt them. If it was from October on through to March, I'd say put them in the freezer just to keep them from melting. But really, they're shelf stable. They won't melt. It's cooking chocolate, so it's slightly different to what we eat in the Cadbury's block. On that note, if you do freeze them, don't forget that they will bloom. They will get that white on them.
Lee agrees with me. Cats don't cost much.
I know they don't cost much, but we don't have a conversation for another time. We don't have the space for a pet at the moment. We have had cats, mice, frogs, tadpoles that turn into frogs, hermit crabs. Before you were born, we had little potty calves out at the farm. No, we don't. I don't have room for a pet. We don't have a big enough backyard for a dog at the moment. So there we go. James here, Spud Shed. Cool. Hi, James, and that is a great price for Western Star butter. $4.99 for 500 grams. Very good price. Get a budgie. And it says get a budgie.
No. Don't want birds.
Grandma had birds. Okay, so, all right, Spud Shed's a great place. We don't have a Spud Shed here. I have Pellegrino's just down the road, but oh well, never mind. Right, well, we're going over the $20 challenge. Please don't encourage my daughter to start behaving like a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum about a cat. We're not having a cat. And I'm really sorry. I've already been told I'm mean and all sorts of things. And obviously, what was it? Cold and unsympathetic or something because we don't have pets. Well, we've had pets. We don't have pets at the moment. But we travel a lot. They take a lot of work. So, yeah. Maureen, she had one of those, not a for real, but she had a...
I had the
dog that used to go put the batteries in and go, sorry, and dance around. The little doggy thing. And then she had another purple monstery thing that used to feed flowers to.
Love.
Yeah, Love. There you go. So... Congratulations. Okay. Ken Parker did really well on the pantry challenge. Freezer and pantry is so bare. Had to do a bigger shop today though. But you would have had some extra cash because you didn't shop last week. You had freed up space in the pantry and freezer and you'd used up food that needed to be used up. So you're starting with a clean slate. You'll be perfect for the next challenge. Now, Pamela's in on it. No pets. No pets. So, all right. No pets, people. I'm not. Oh, my goodness. Now I'm going to feel bad. No pets. We just don't have the household set up for pets at the moment. No, we don't. Anyway, back to grocery challenge. So now we're going to talk about, I still want to know what everyone made with everything that they had in their fridge and freezer. Did anyone have, Annie made, Annette made some veggie soup. Bite your tongue, Karen. Oh my goodness. Oh, Lucinda. I threw the pantry challenge out just literally as a challenge. As a group, we've done, we do no in February, and usually I do throw in a couple of other pantry challenges through the year. You'll see them pop up in the newsletter. It's something to do if you suddenly think, oh my goodness, I've got the car registration to pay and the money's not in the budget for it. We're not quite ready for it. We haven't quite got our budget set up so that it just automatically rolls over each year. What will we do? Do a pantry challenge. Try and just do a $20 a week pantry challenge and see and use that extra money to then pay that bill as it comes in. Or if something unexpected happens and the emergency fund has been depleted, the challenge might give you the extra boost. And it could be something simple like an unexpected excursion for kids at school that you suddenly need an extra $30 or something for, and it's just not in the budget. Do a pantry challenge. Live out of the pantry, use the grocery money to pay that. It's not something, the $20 pantry challenge, it's not sustainable because you're going to run out of food in your pantry and freezer anyway, eventually, and you will have to restock. And even for a single, $20 is pushing it. It's doable, but it's a pretty boring, even for me, it's a pretty boring diet and very limited. For a family, it would be even more so. But as a one-off, get some extra grocery money quickly. It's a challenge, and it's once in a blue moon isn't going to hurt. Now, we do the Bare Bones Grocery Challenge with the no spending in February, and there's some interesting recipes in that book that are fun and cheap. But again, it's just for a week or a couple of weeks. It's not a long-term challenge. I wouldn't do it for weeks on end because it's just not sustainable. Even I will admit it's not sustainable. You'd go mental trying to figure out what to buy for your $20 that was going to last the week to feed you all, trying to work out the dishes, the meals to cook will be very difficult and boring. It would be boring. So, you know, if you need to give your grocery budget a boost probably every 3 months or so, go right ahead and do that. And perhaps throw in on week 13 of every quarter, that's going to be your pantry challenge week, and you're not going to spend any money on groceries, and then you'll use that money to boost your slush fund or pay off a bill or whatever. Clean out the pantry and the fridge and freezer and start from scratch start of the next quarter. But I wouldn't do it for weeks on end. Even I wouldn't do it for weeks on end if I didn't have the choice. If I didn't have to. If I had to, then you have to. But if you don't have to, don't. Thank you, Lisa.
No, not having it.
Oh, Maureen made ricotta last week for the first time, homemade ricotta. Well done. Okay. Rosalie, weekly $20 challenge was an eye-opener and you didn't miss anything. There you go. Michelle. I say that all the time too, Michelle. Lucinda, sausages and green bean casserole in red wine packet sauce, Thai red coconut curry, pumpkin, chickpeas and rice, pesto, pasta and zucchini, sweet potato and lentil. Oh, that sounds delicious. Fried rice, fish cakes and veggies. There you go. They sound delicious. Sweet potato and lentil, green coconut. Oh, yum. And Lorraine S. managed to live out of a freezer, and you do freezer meals. Perfect. Okay, and Pamela does too. Now, did you all see Pamela's post over on Cheapskates Chatter? And she posted the recipe for her zucchini pasta dish. Yum. It's very good. If you haven't made it yet, it's really good. And zucchini's cheap at the moment. Very nice. We did enjoy it. It's over on the Cheapskates Chatter page. Okay. So, alrighty. Oh, we've got a few things going on here. Sorry, guys. I'm just flicking through the comments so I don't miss anything. Right. Okay. Now, I didn't do the show on Tuesday night, folks, because my mum passed away on Thursday night. Not long after I finished our show, I got a phone call to go to the nursing home, and mum had passed away. So Tuesday I just wasn't up to it. But I'm here tonight, and we're back on board again. I will be having a few days off. I have family coming in from overseas and interstate for mum's funeral on Monday. So if you message me and I don't answer straight away, or you send a contact us and it takes me a while to get back to you, I do apologise. I will get back to you, but I'm kind of distracted. So that's why there was no show on Tuesday. All right. Oh, that sounds good too, Lisa. Well done. So, Lorraine S., if you go to Facebook, Cheapskates Chatter is on Facebook, yes, and it's called Cheapskates Chatter. You should find us. Just click the thing to join and we'll get you set up as quickly as we can. Don't forget to answer the question. There's quite a few people that are waiting to join who haven't answered the question. So if you don't answer the question, we treat the request as a robot and don't approve it. And we do that simply to try and keep the group real, for want of a better word. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. So I've done the challenge. We're all up. Everyone's up with the new challenge. Everyone's up with the new challenge. We're going to track our meals instead. You can still track your spending, but track your meals as well. And don't forget to track the food you waste, so that at the end of July we'll know, oh my golly gosh, we've thrown out a whole week's grocery budget worth of food because we didn't eat it or whatever. And we'll work it out. And it might be interesting if we do that, and then perhaps we get a grand total for everyone that took part in the challenge. We'll total up and see how much all of us combined managed to put in the bin, all that money that just goes in the bin. That would be an interesting exercise too, I think. And it'd be interesting, I'd be interested to see from that point of view, because it blows my mind, the amount, you know, the average blows my mind of food waste. So it'd be really good if we cut it out, because, you know, $3,800, that's a really nice holiday. That's a really nice holiday. Anyway, okay, I'm going to go. No, you can't whip UHT cream. If it's chilled, it's actually thicker than if it's not chilled though. So there you go. Thank you, Maureen. Yeah, all right, so I'm going to go, folks, and try and have an early night, get some sleep.
Discuss this animal situation.
Discuss the animal situation. Oh, thank you all for that. I'll see you next Tuesday, and have a nice weekend, everyone. We'll be back on Tuesday night. We'll be back on board. Back to normal, our normal routine. Alrighty. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you've enjoyed the show, and I'm sorry it's been a bit disjointed tonight, but don't forget, thumbs up underneath me here, just down here, and subscribe if you haven't already hit subscribe, so that you automatically get the updates. Hit the bell and you'll be notified when there's a new video uploaded. Automatically, you won't have to wait for me to do it. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us, and I will see you on Tuesday. Good night.